So here's a newer pattern with Umpqua. It's called the Darth Baetis. I want to show you that the one that's on the camera right now is a purple one, but I'd like to show everybody the original color scheme, which is a brown and with a red head. And the reason why I came up with that fly was that I used to take a lot of throat samples from fish, and I would notice that probably 80% of the live bugs in my palm of my hand had a reddish head to them, a reddish or a rust. And from talking to some fish biologists, they had told me that that was actually the male of the Baetis that I was fishing. So I just thought, well, there's got to be a reason why these fish are really keying in on that there's so many of these rust-colored eyed bugs in their throats. So that's why I kind of came up with this pattern. And there's so many Baetis patterns out there. It's kind of the holy grail of attires to come up with a really good Baetis pattern. I probably worked on this thing for 5 years, fishing it, giving it to buddies, have them fish it. And I wanted to do something more than just a thread-bodied fly. So here's what I came up with. The hook we're going to be using is a Tiemco 2488. It's got a straight eye to it, which I really like, straight eyes. And we'll be tying on a size 16 today. That's the top range of what's being produced. So I'm going to start my thread, which is this brown camel uni thread, right at about the 75% point on this hook to about 3 wraps back. And then I'm going to grab some tailing material, which is some CDL tailing material. And I'm going to grab about 12, 14 fibers. I don't really measure it or count them. What I'm going to do is I'm looking more for what my bulk is going to be back here. So we'll actually be able to see it once this is wet. So pull your fibers perpendicular to the stem, grab the stem and pull it straight off. That'll keep all your tips nice and even. And I kind of always wet it just to kind of see what my profile is going to be. Then I can bring my thread right back to above the barb, or where it just starts to kind of gently go down. I'm going to do one. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting these fibers at a 45-degree angle down. I'm doing a very soft wrap, and then on my second wrap, I increase my tension, and that should just roll right on top. At this point, if I had miscalculated my measurement of my tail, I can come in and readjust it, or I could take it off the hook and remount it, but that seemed to work okay right there. Now, another thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to attach the ribbing of this fly. Remember, I got 2 wraps on there, so I'm going to just attach my wire right there, go right back up to my tie-in points of where I first attached my thread, cut that tailing material off. Now, by attaching that wire back at the tail versus coming back up, tie in all my tail material, then tie in my wire and come right back, and then my thread back forward, I've taken out 2 passes of thread. Probably doesn't seem like a big deal right now, but when you're tying this fly down into a size 22, it makes a huge difference on the bulk of your body. I've even tied this in bigger sizes, 14s, even 12s. And at that point, I will come in here and put in a little taper of thread just to kind of give the fly that carrot-shaped form of a true mayfly body. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with some of the UV resin. I've put a little drop right on my bobbin on the back side. I'm just going to drop that onto the top of the body. And then with my clean point, I can manipulate this resin right where I want it. It's a very thin coat. You could use, every company's got a lot of different materials, but the thinnest possible UV resin you can get. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cure that, and then I'm going to wrap my wire on top. So if I keep the correct tension on this, it's not going to slip off this hard body. And I've tried this various ways, and the reason why I like doing this is it makes for a very translucent body, where if I put the UV agent on there now, it'd just be like a big lump, which didn't really appeal to me. So now the front half of this thread, or this body, I'm going to change my thread to a red UTC. And basically I just laid that on top of the black, tied it on. That'll keep you from having to whip finish it and just one other step. I'm going to put in a wing case. This is a flashback material that's been dyed black. It's obtainable through Hairline. I'm going to just come back to about the 40% point on this hook. And then I'm going to tie in my legs, which is the Vivus Iris thread. And it's kind of a little rope that's got lots of different colors in here. I'm just going to wrap that around my thread, bring my thread to the top, lay that bundle right on top, and then I can just tie both of these pieces in all at once. Okay? Now we just need to dub this, and we're pretty close to finish here. So kind of prep this dubbing already, where I pull it out of the package, and I'm just going to kind of pull it and stack it, try to get all the little irregular pieces out. And then just come in here with a little, get that tip started. And just put just a little minute bit of dubbing on here. Remember, a little dubbing on a lot of thread is kind of the key here. And then I'm just going to build in my tapered thorax. Remember, a lot of these mayflies kind of has a reverse taper to the front of this fly. And then I'm going to come right down, got about, I don't know, head width here. Threads right behind the eye. Going to bring both of these pieces of the iris thread forward, tied in with 2 wraps, pull the far side to the side, and I'm going to come back no more than 2 wraps right there. Pull this one backwards, lay it on the side of the hook, 1 wrap, and then right up to the eye. Then I can bring my wing case over, tie it off with maybe 2 wraps, pull it back, and then everything underneath is kind of the foundation of where that head is. And then I can just whip finish this, 2, 3, 4 at the most. Pop that off. All I need to do is a little trimming and we're done. Snip off that wing case. The reason why I laid that back too is that it's kind of reinforces it so it won't come unbuckled. And then I'm going to cut my legs both at the same time. I just draw both of those legs to the back, come back just right past the wing case, because usually the legs are about 50% the length of the body. And there we go. That is the Darth Baetis. You can tie it in a lot of different colorations. We have it in an olive, a gray, this color, and then also the purple. And hopefully more to come. Darth Baetis, give it a try. It's been a good fly for me.